Celtics fans, welcome into Celtics Today by Chat Sports. You got Allie Barefoot here, and head coach Joe Mazzulla did give an injury update on the player that is on the forefront of every single Boston Celtics fan's mind, Kristaps Porzingis. Mazzulla said he will be evaluated in 1 week for his soleus strain, which is just a fancy word for a muscle that's currently in his calf. But I'm going to get straight to the news here. Here's what Joe Mazzulla had to say about the big man down low for the Boston Celtics, Kristaps Porzingis. Joe said, I don't know the specifics of it. They use a lot of fancy words, aka soleus, but I do know it will be reevaluated next week. We'll see how he responds to the treatment and we'll see how he responds to the treatment and how much better he gets here in the first week. That's the goal, to rehab it like crazy over the next week and see where we're at from there. When I tell you, I have lost sleep over this reevaluation because when this originally came out and everybody was scared that it was an Achilles, thankfully we dodged that bullet. But then everybody said this is the exact same injury that Giannis Antetokounmpo suffered 3 weeks ago. So I'm going to talk about that in just one moment, but I'm going to be honest, I'm nervous. And because I'm so nervous, I've been checking reports daily, hourly, making sure I know the latest on Kristaps Porzingis, which is why you guys should subscribe to Celtics Today by Chat Sports. Between myself and producer Smitty, we are working around the clock to be sure you have all the latest updates right now on Kristaps Porzingis. And hey, it's for free. We're going to update you guys with anything that we know. And what we do know right now is Giannis Antetokounmpo is kind of, at least for me, my timeline here of how Kristaps Porzingis' injury is going to look. Now, with that being said, everybody's injury is different. Just because Giannis has a soleus strain doesn't mean it's going to be the exact same thing as Kristaps Porzingis is. But we do know that Giannis missed Game 5 versus the Pacers, ended their season. Milwaukee is now done. They're not in the playoffs anymore because Giannis missed the entire first round because 3 weeks ago, he suffered the exact same non-contact injury against the Boston Celtics. You guys saw it. All he did was inbound a pass, start running. Next thing you know, he's collapsing right there by the nail on the Bucks basket. His injury was sustained 23 days prior, and he still did not return after that game against the Celtics, not even for the first round of the NBA playoffs. Although he was listed as a game-time decision for that Game 5, he ultimately did not play. So it's making me wonder, does Kristaps Porzingis have a severity of this injury? Is it mild? We don't know the exact severity of his injury, but Brian Robb did say that with the upcoming schedule here for the Boston Celtics, hopefully Kristaps Porzingis can come back in one of these scenarios here with Game 1 of the Celtics second round series will be either 1 p.m. Sunday or 7 p.m. Tuesday if Cavs and Magic go 7. While KP, in my opinion, I am no doctor, I don't know if we'll see Kristaps in the second round just because he will be reevaluated once that series is starting. Like Brian Robb said, Sunday or Tuesday, that'll be about a week since KP suffered that injury, so we'll have to determine if he'll be back for Series 2, or could we see him possibly in the Eastern Conference Finals. So with that being said, not knowing who we could be facing in round 2 and not knowing if we're going to have Kristaps Porzingis back, who do you guys want to face in the second round? They will play tonight, the Cavaliers and the Magic. If the Cavs win, we'll be facing the Cavaliers. If the Magic win, they're going to go to a Game 7 to determine who is going on in the NBA postseason, and ultimately, whose postseason run is going to end from the Boston Celtics. But with that being said, we're going to break down what that schedule will look like for the Boston Celtics, and our main man, Jayson Tatum, speaks out on his little bit of an off day here for the Celtics in between round 1 and round 2, and what he expects here for the rest of the postseason. With that being said, I highly suggest you guys go check out our sponsor here on Celtics Today. I'm talking about PrizePicks. I'm always talking about PrizePicks. And I'm going to tell you one more time why you should go play PrizePicks. It's the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America right now for a very, very good reason. It is so much fun to play. It's super easy to play as well. That's why I do it every single game day. All you have to do is pick between 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on a player's projected stats. That's how you can win up to 100 times your money with 4 correct picks. So with that being said, I got my W sweatshirt here going on, and the WNBA season does start on May 14th, but right now preseason is happening. So with that being said, I'm just going to go ahead and lock in my Caitlin Clark projections for the entire WNBA season. I have her having more than averaging 3.2 three-pointers made throughout the season. I have high hopes for rookie Caitlin Clark, as you guys can tell, but I also did have one for tonight's game. That's Kyrie Irving to have more than 5 assists. You guys can go ahead and mix and match your prize picks right now. WNBA, MLB, NHL, NBA, they're all there for you guys to play. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use a promo code CLNS for a first-time deposit match up to $100, and you can watch yourself win some real money in real time. Pick more, pick less. It's truly that easy. If you guys are wondering when are we going to see the Boston Celtics finally back in action, I got a little bit of taste in the first round, but I want to keep going. Well, the round 2 game times have been announced for the Boston Celtics. So if Cleveland wins tonight in Game 6, the Celtics and the Cavaliers will play in round 2. Here is what that schedule will look like. Game 1 will start on Sunday at Boston at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Nice little afternoon game there. Then it goes on to Game 2. Game 3 and 4 will be in Cleveland. Game 5, if necessary. 6 back in Cleveland, if necessary. And Game 7, of course, will be with the Boston Celtics, if that is necessary. Key on if necessary, because I have all the high hopes in the world here for the Boston Celtics. But that does mean that there will be 3 whole days between Game 2 and 3. And while I'm glad the Celtics will have those 2-3 days to allow Kristaps Porzingis to rest if he needs it, I'm so sick of these long stretches to watch the Boston Celtics play basketball. We're talking in Chat Sports, and they have no idea when the Celtics are playing because I feel like they constantly have off days. And while there is some good, as a fan, that's some bad because I just want to get to the NBA Finals as soon as possible, man. I want to play playoff basketball, especially if we have to play somebody like the Cavs who have beaten the Boston Celtics in the regular season, but the Orlando Magic has as well. So if this game does go to 7, whoever ends up winning that game is who the Celtics will play in the second round. So here is what the schedule will look like if the first round series versus Cavs and Magic go to 7 games. Game 1 will be played on Tuesday, and then you're going to have Game 2 just 2 days after that on Thursday. And then, once again, we're on this 2-day pattern here, Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I like this schedule a lot better for the Celtics personally. You get 1 day off, you're back at it. You got 1 day to adjust, you're back at it. That way your momentum can just keep rolling in. Not that I'm specifically worried about momentum because I know the dogs on the Celtics roster are ready to go. Specifically, we're talking about Jayson Tatum, the double-double machine so far for the Boston Celtics here in the NBA playoffs. He is dialed in. Lights out. He wants to play NBA postseason basketball. Here's what Jayson Tatum had to tell the media during their time in between the first round and the second round here. Jayson Tatum on Boston's playoff mentality and what they're bringing into the second round. He said, what are teams? What's their message? What's their game plan to beat us? And it's to pick up the pace, the pressure, be more physical, crash the glass, do all the intangible things. So we know that. And the Celtics got back to the basics there after Game 2 lost. They didn't try anything different. They didn't try anything new. They went back to man-to-man defense. They went back to closing down lanes. They went back to really protecting the perimeter. The Boston Celtics just went back to basics. And that's what they need to do moving on to the next few rounds. Stop playing new things. Stop trying to double-team Tyler Hero when it's not working and you're leaving another sharpshooter open, Joe. Just go with what you know. And Tatum continues on to say, why don't we flip the script and be a tougher team? Why don't we crash the glass more? Why don't we pick up the pressure on defense while still being the talented team that we are? It'll be tough to beat us. Tatum knows the resources that are on Boston's team right now. And let me tell you, every other team in the NBA understands you cannot win the NBA Finals without getting through the Boston Celtics first. The Celtics already have more talent than everybody in the East. They also have more postseason experience than any other team right now in the NBA postseason. If they get out-toughed, if they can out-tough opponents, nobody can beat them. When I saw Al Horford getting the bench hype, getting TD Garden hype. When I saw Jayson Tatum getting a little grit under his shot when he put a guy on a poster and he looked back at Caleb Martin and exchanged some words, that's the dog that I want to see, and that's the toughness that has to come out every single game after that. The man continues to speak. He says, I think the world we live in it's got to be something wrong with every team. That's what they like to say. And you can see how talented we are. I think it's lazy or easy to say that the teams can out-tough us, right? And I never understood that. Like, what's the definition of tough? Like having the louder guys on your team? That shit don't make you tough. Everybody has their own definition of what toughness is. It's playing the right way, showing up every day to do your job without complaining. I think that's being tough. I think that's my MVP. That's the kind of tough I want. I don't need Pat Beverly. I don't need outside kind of toughness, throwing balls at fans and arguing with the refs and Draymond Green and getting in fights with other players. I don't want that. That's distractions to me. I want that hard mentality type of player where he's like, I don't have to talk. I just want to show you that I've been in the lab, I've been working, and we're ready for postseason basketball here. But Tatum needs to be sure he doesn't eat his words. He needs to be the toughest. He needs to take over. He is truly the momentum shifter here for the Boston Celtics. And the time has come when your best player has to will you to these wins. Tatum has all the resources. Brad Stevens gave Joe and Tatum everything they need in order to win the NBA Finals. Will it be easy? No, it's going to be tough. But I think Jayson Tatum will be tougher. Do you think the Boston Celtics will beat Cleveland or Orlando in blank games? Comment 4, 5, 6, or 7 down below. What do you guys think round 2 is going to look like here for the Boston Celtics? Go ahead and comment those numbers down below. And while you guys are at it, you know what to do. Hit that sub button. We're live for every single Boston Celtics basketball game moving forward. And we've got the latest on your Celtics right here for free. Subscribe.